Hey everybody, it's Leeroy from Leeroy Gaming, and in today's Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader video, we're gonna start with my very first character build video, and we're gonna be starting with Argenta. This is a player favorite character. She is absolutely amazing at shredding enemies. This build is gonna be for level 35. For reference, that level 35 is right before you unlock the Exemplar archetype at level 36. So this is going to be your level up build and should cover you from basically through Act 1, 2, and 3. You normally, if you pace normally, should be hitting level 36 in Act 4. Now she, as you can see here in the background, is an absolute shredding machine. If you kind of set her up as your carry and buffer with your officers, you're going to be able to set her up that she can slaughter not only droves of enemies in AoE, not only can she just snipe enemies from far away with her heavy weapons, but she can also completely annihilate bosses and tough targets. So it doesn't matter if they're soft targets, it does not matter if they have armor as you set this up. She's just going to be very, very powerful. She's going to have really high dodge as well. She's going to have, as you level up, her armor rating is going to be really, really high. She is, because she's going to be using medium armor, she is not going to have high deflection, and her toughness is not going to be high as it's built here before buffs. So she's not going to be really meant to be a tank. But because she basically kills everything so quickly, her defense is her amazing offense. In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything you need. We're going to go over every single archetype that we're going to pick for her. At the beginning of each of the sections, you're going to see a pretty quick overview in case you just want to take a look at those and pause it. But I will be doing in-depth analysis of each choice, and then also I'm going to go over my inventory as it sits right at level 35 in my game with some of my recommendations, and I'll even mention some alternatives that you're going to be able to pick. Now, for your convenience, I am going to be giving you timestamps that you're going to see below so you can jump to the section of the video that you like. I hope you guys find this video helpful. This is going to be the beginning of a series of videos. I'm going to be covering all the different companions. We will also be doing, as mentioned, max level builds as well, but this should get new players started. Please do provide me with your feedback below with comments. And of course, as always, like and subscribe if you want to see more RPG content from me, and especially more content for Warhammer 40k, a Rogue Trader. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look how to build Argenta as an absolute killing machine. Alright guys, now as a reminder, this is going to be the level 35 build. So we will have a separate video that will do a max level build. Now for reference, you should be hitting level 35 right at the beginning of Act 4 roughly. This is right before you unlock Exemplar, which will kind of break this character quite a bit as far as making this character and other builds super overpowered. But this initial build is great when you're building up from level 1 to level 35, and we're going to be leaning into the soldier archetype and the Arch-Militant Archetype. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Do note, after this, we will also take a look at the inventory items and recommendations that I have picked for Argenta. Now, here's the soldier archetype, and for those of you that just want the little cheat sheet, I'll go ahead and show you quickly here on the right hand side. You can see the choices. I'll scroll down. Feel free to pause at any point. And then we will go ahead and go over each choice one by one. But for those of you that want to just see the quick version, then of course you can use the timestamp to jump ahead to take a look at the Arch-Militant next. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at each ranking. Now, of course, you're going to begin at rank 1. You're going to get Run and Gun automatically. This is a huge way of getting an extra attack every turn. Also, it's going to be the beginning of the importance of having good agility on this build. Next, rank 2, I have chosen Demolition. Argenta is perfect to be our demolition expert. So that is my top recommendation, although you can build her however you want with that element, since it has nothing to do with combat. Revel in the Slaughter is big. And you'll notice here again, emphasizing agility being important, because once you get this, there is a static ballistic skill increase, but you're going to get a critical damage and critical percentage chance bonus based on your agility modifier. Next, at rank 4, you get Firearm Mastery. This is huge as far as being a very powerful ability for her. And we want to pick up Second Skin right away so that you no longer get the negative effect of having medium armor as far as your dodge chance being mitigated, and so you're going to have a nice big dodge percentage. We're going to be getting agility initially at rank 5 and also Fired Up. This is a big deal because, again, whenever you do damage, you're going to have a stacking critical damage buff, because we're going to be shooting so many different times and doing damage on multiple occasions. This is going to stack up really quickly. Next, at rank 6, we're going to get ballistic skills. Now, it is important. We're going to be getting these skills to nice even numbers on this first soldier archetype. So you're going to notice that we're going to be bumping each one of them up once in this section. Now, after the ballistic skill, you're going to get rapid fire. This can be the meat and potato of this build as far as doing damage. You're going to be doing insane burst damage, and this is the beginning of that. Now, level 7, you might be surprised that we're getting strength. This is just in preparation to have enough strength, which is 35, plus a option later on to meet the minimal requirements for using heavy weapons. So that's the main reason we do that. And then Bolt Weapon Expert. Again, we're going to be using rapid fire bolt weapons. They innately don't have the best armor penetration, so this is going to help out to get that armor penetration nice and high so that you can be effective against all types of enemies. Next, you're going to get Unpredictable. Again, increasing your critical hit chance and being able to double that against enemies that are in cover, or rather, as long as you are in cover, which you should be most of the time if you're setting things up correctly. And then Demolition again. At rank 9, you're going to pick the Firearm Mastery level 2. This is big, increasing your rate of fire by 30%. If you already have a high rate of fire weapon, this is going to be huge. You're going to get even more attacks with your rapid fire. And then right after that, rank 10, we're going to get Unfaltering Fire, getting rid of the only weakness of rapid fire, no longer reducing the damage, so this is huge. Then we're going to get Agility buffed up again. Next, we're going to get Controlled Shot. This is very important because the spread of your rapid fire weapons sometimes can most definitely attack your own characters, and there's nothing worse than literally mowing down your own character by accident. So this is going to just give you a lot more power when it comes to being able to shoot however you want and not worry about hitting your own allies. Then we're going to get Awareness, because at this point you won't be able to put any more points into ballistics. Now, you could technically do Awareness or Medicae for this character, but if you're playing correctly, your best defense against having to heal is an amazing offense, and Awareness is useful for finding different traps, etc. since you're going to be using demolition anyway. That's a good combination. Rank 12, we're going to put one rank into willpower, that just to get it from 35 to 40. You're going to be buffing up willpower using some buffs from other characters to get this up nice and high, but we just don't have enough power-ups to kind of get that really high. We're going to want other stats for pure offense that are going to take priority, but we will get this once. At rank 12, again, we're getting ready to use those heavy weapons in just a little bit. The heavy weapon proficiency, reducing the strength requirement for heavy weapons by 25 is huge. Again, as mentioned earlier, you add your 35 strength to 25 here. That's the equivalent of having 60 strength, and that is exactly what you need for heavy weapons. And your mainstay, the heavy bolter. At level 13, you're going to get Rack and Ruin. So because you're going to be using rapid fire all the time, you're going to do damage 3 times to different enemies quite easily. And then you can set it up to potentially do a second rapid fire later on. And in those cases, that entire rapid fire attack, the second rapid fire attack, will do a huge damage boost. Early on, it's going to give you a nice, powerful single attack. But this is all planning for the future. Now, Shield of Faith, this is, again, based off your willpower. And it is going to get very, very powerful when you're fighting later on against demons. And also, when you get that willpower buffed again by other characters, getting that resolve boost can also be very, very powerful. And then at rank 14, you're going to get No Heresy. Again, we don't care about Lore Warp or Lore Xenos on this character, and getting both 10% crit chance and armor against Xenos and demons, which are going to be the toughest enemies you're going to face later on, is 100% useful. And it's nice that allies gain half the bonuses for free. So this is great. So they'll get 5% to each, and without any negativity. Then awareness again. And finally, this is huge also, Firearm Mastery Upgrade 3. 20% harder to dodge your attacks, and make your range attacks also do 10% more armor penetration. Is again going to make those bolter shots really, really potent. So that's everything with the soldier archetype. Next, let's go ahead and look at the Arch-Militant. And as before, then give you a quick preview of everything on the right hand side here. So for those of you that don't want to watch everything here in depth, you can just pause this at any point and copy this. There you go. Now let's go ahead and go one by one. At rank 1, you're going to get versatility. This is huge. You're going to be swapping between single shot and burst shot quite a bit in this game. As an Arch-Militant of Argenta, this is really going to help increase your ballistic skill dramatically. We don't really care about the weapon skill for this build, but it's going to increase your chance to hit and then chance to crit. Now, do remember, if you get your ballistic skill above 95, so once you hit 95, that's the max to hit bonus. There's always a 5% chance to miss. However, anything above that is going to go directly to crit chance. So you most definitely want to get your ballistic skill as high as you can. 100, 110, 120, 130, etc. is going to be big. And then don't forget that once you get 4 more stacks of Arch-Militant, you're going to do additional damage, which is going to be ballistic bonus divided by 2. So the higher your ballistic bonus is, the more damage you're going to do per hit. Then you have devastating attack. This is very, very important. So the next attacks, you'll use this right before using rapid fire. It's going to cause a toughness check. And if they fail, they're going to basically get a negative effect. And with your bolter setup, what we're going to do, it's going to knock enemies prone for a round, which is great. Because in this game, that's, basically as good as a stun. Now, next you're going to get Heavy Gunner. Very, very important, because heavy attacks do cost more. They cost 2 for a single attack and 3 for the rapid fires, so well, the rapid fire, like the burst attacks rather. And so this is going to begin back to 1 and 2, very important. Steady superiority is nice. You're going to basically be able to do 2 main attack actions per round. Very, very good. And with the upgrades, it's going to be even better. Going to get an extra AP at rank 5 and agility. Next, very important, we're going to get close quarter training. This means we don't have to take kick. And even if enemies get in melee with us, we can just blast them from up close. It's also going to synergize with some items we're going to get in the item section. Minus 10 penalty. I mean, it is basically a minus 10% chance to hit. Once you're above 95 ballistic, you'll be minus 10 chance to crit. Not great, but better than, in most cases, than moving away to be able to attack enemies and potentially take an attack of opportunity. Agility also, again, we're bumping that up as high as we can at this point. Wildfire initially won't be so great, but eventually, once you get good amount of Arch-Militant stacks, you're going to be able to use this to get an extra attack for 1 or even potentially 0 AP. So this is great. Overpower, also wonderful. So since you're going to be using nothing but heavy weapons, getting your crit hit chance to increase is going to be really good, and your crit hit damage bonus. So again, as you keep stacking that ballistic skill higher and higher, you're just going to be doing more and more damage. Again, we're going to go demolition here, and then rank 8, always ready. Start with 2 stacks of versatility. This is as good. Basically, it's 10 ballistic skill, but remember all these other abilities we're getting as we get to this point. This is going to increase your damage, crit chance, etc. even more. Now, next we're going to get ballistic skill, because again, we will have maxed out how many times we can get agility. And then corrective training ballistic skill, again, to get that even higher. Next, we're going to get critical versatility. So every stack of versatility is going to increase crit damage even more. You can probably see where this is all going. Insane crit damage over time. Demolition skill again, and then ballistic skill again. At rank 12, we're going to get the upgrade 4 here for steady superiority. And now you can use both of your heroic acts so both the one from soldier and the one from here. Normally you can only do one or the other, and until rank 12, you're probably not going to use this one as much initially. Well, I guess it'll be situational, but once you can get this, you can basically use both of them in basically one match, and a lot of times you can basically do this 2 rounds back to back. You cannot use both heroic actions in the same round, unfortunately. But normally, if you proc the first one with Argenta or start, by the time she is done attacking, she will have built up enough momentum through all the killing she does to basically proc the second one. So we want to get this as soon as possible. Next, at rank 13, you're going to get demolition and adaptability. And again, this is nice. You're just going to get an extra 10% crit hit chance. And again, because you can do multiple attacks constantly with this character, you're going to be easily getting 20% crit chance, sometimes more potentially. So this is really, really good. Obviously, you do have to swap between single attacks and rapid fire to min-max this, but again, very, very good. Ballistic skill at rank 14, and then characteristics training agility. Then we're going to get reckless rush, because I don't really like any of the other options, and you don't need kick on this character. And again, getting an instant huge amount of extra movement. This will scale, as you can see here, with your agility bonus. An extra 10 movement is amazing. Really, really love that. And you're going to see soon, you're going to be able to get an upgrade to your heroic to make it that your attacks no longer end your movement either. So you can utilize this and just get a ton of movement to position and kill whatever you need. Next, we have dependable. This is just to make you more survivable towards the harder part of the game. Again, you're going to be getting easily 6, 8, 10 stacks sometimes in prolonged encounters with Argenta. So this could easily be, between 10 and 20% armor as you level up, potentially even more. Rank 17, we're now going to be hitting perception. You could argue that you could get toughness, but this character is going to be so dodgy. And she's going to have decent enough defense. You are, I won't call her a glass cannon because she can avoid damage, but she is not going to have any deflection. So you could go for toughness, but I chose to go pure offense. Perception, the main reason for this is so that you increase or decrease the enemy's chance to dodge your attacks. And as a side benefit, it's also going to boost your awareness score for the rest of the game. And then, of course, we're going to put awareness here. Ingenious, I really like this because don't forget, you're going to be using devastating attack, and Ingenious makes it so that the enemy gets a huge penalty on that check, as well as other checks from other characters. So this just makes it much easier to knock everybody prone. More perception at the same level. Level 19 perception. Characteristic training perception. And a coup de grace here as you exit Act 3. Steady superiority upgrade 3. Until the end of combat, Arch-Militant's attacks don't spend all MP. That is huge. You can basically just run around the entirety of the map, just slaughtering everything and keep on moving, keep on shooting. And as a nice little bonus, this isn't the reason you get it, but each attack grants a stacking 5% bonus to dodge for 1 round. So you can stack your dodge into the high heavens here. Very, very good. So those are all the level ups. Now next we're going to be looking at inventory. All right, now I'm going to give you my example inventory setup here. Of course, you're going to find different items as you level up. These are just some examples and themes you can focus on. I want to start with the weapons, and really the main weapon you're going to get is the heavy bolter. You can get this relatively early in the game. There is an improved version later on in the game. It's tougher to get, but even this one, do not be underestimated by the 6-9 base damage and 20% armor penetration. Your armor penetration is going to be easily 40, maybe 50%, and this base damage is going to be boosted like crazy. The reason we like this weapon is, on top of it being counted as a heavy bolter or a heavy weapon and a bolter, you're going to get a rate of fire of 9. I believe there is a weapon, and I think you need to have one of the Xenos specialties, Drukir or whatnot, that has a rate of fire of 12, but the damage is worse. But here, 9 rate of fire with a range of 12, which is really good, and a max ammo 96, meaning you'll never have to reload pretty much, and not gonna have to waste any level ups on getting free reloads. This is huge. Again, single shots and burst fire. The way you leveled up, it's only going to cost 1 and 2, which is amazing. I did have a backup weapon of a precision bolter in case there were some shots that were far away and lower chance to hit for one reason or another. You can use this instead, but you are likely going to use the heavy bolter most of the time. Now, let's look at equipment. This helmet I love. The Gunslinger's helmet grants the wearer's range attacks 2 times rate of fire damage. Now with rapid fire, remember, it's going to increase the rate of fire dramatically, and you're also going to use heroic feats that will increase that even more. So this is going to be a significant multiplicative damage boost. Now armor, the one I have here isn't by means any perfect at this point in the game. You just care about having the highest possible armor damage, that's medium, or armor percentage, not damage. Because we negate that dodge penalty. This one's kind of cool, mainly for that extra base armor property, plus 15% armor against range attacks. So baseline, you're getting 70% armor versus ranged attacks. So quite good. I got this portative manipulator using reload for any weapon cost -1. There are quite a few other ones that you can utilize, they can pick up. This came in handy more earlier on. in the game when I didn't have a heavy bolter and I actually had to reload, making it cheaper. At this point in the game, I just hadn't replaced it yet. So you might get something that increases your demolition skill or awareness skill for just the gameplay, but otherwise this is fine. Love this neck piece. Single attacks of bolter weapons automatically hit the target. This is invaluable when shooting targets that are very, very far away, when you're going to be using the soldier heroic ability, and you may have with your heavy bolter, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks or more. And in those cases, making sure you hit with every single one can be quite important. This is great. Bayonet knife. This is why you have the close quarter fighter. You're going to have no issue shooting from close range and being able to apply bleed 4 on enemies is nice. You'll see my level 50 build. There is an upgraded version to this that is absolutely bonkers. So this is kind of prepping for that. Gloves of Rapid Desolation. Early on, you're going to get gloves that lower recoil, and you're probably going to want those. They're really easy to forget, and it's like a minus 50% to recoil. You're not going to have to deal with recoil issues later, especially at the higher level build. But what's great about these, once you can get them, is increases the rate of fire of their weapons by +1, which is great because you're going to have multiple multipliers. So this is going to be worth more than 1. And then also, very importantly, each time the enemy is killed, Perplex is inflicted on all other enemies in 2-cell radius. And Perplex, as you can see here, each stack inflicts a -10 penalty to any ballistic skill, weapon skill, intelligence, or perception test. So it's a nice little debuff when you're, killing lots of enemies in a small kind of area. So I really quite like these gloves. For the cloak, I just got a cloak that increases the dodge by 10%. Can't go wrong with that. Again, there's going to be a really nice backpack later on in my higher level build that'll show off. But this is great early on in the game. And I love these recoil war boots. Whenever the wearer attacks an enemy behind cover of a ranged attack, and enemies are actually pretty good at staying in cover, the efficiency of the cover is decreased by -40%. And then for you get -15 recoil, which is great. Because again, if you have high recoil, it's going to make it that your shots are all over the place, and it's harder to get more of your hits to land. Now, there are also other boots that you can get early on in the game, which I like, where you have a 25% chance when you hit an enemy to basically gain 2 movement points, which is nice because those movement points do count after your movement gets negated in early levels for attack. So normally when you attack, you can no longer move. But with those boots, you can easily, with rapid fire, hit enemies multiple times. If that procs, I've had times where I finish my rapid attack, and all of a sudden I have 2 movement, 4 movement, 6 movement. Helps with repositioning, especially with follow-up attacks. And then it really doesn't matter what you have as far as your items, although I will say, if you are going to be using her as a heroic kind of killing machine, using the stems, which you should be able to get a lot of, is very useful for harder fights. Because again, when you use this, it costs 1 AP to use, but it's going to give you +4 AP. So it basically gives you an extra 3 AP for that attack. So that could be an extra rapid fire attack plus single attack right there. That could make all the difference on a fight. So having a couple of those is good. I just happen to have med packs on her, and when I recorded this build, and I think I had used the slip pack I had equipped on her. So those are the pieces of equipment that I have for this build. Again, as I mentioned, guys, I will be doing a higher level, max level build as well for you guys. Hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, remember to drop a like, subscribe, give me your thoughts, feedback, and comments below. Let me know what character you would like for me to do level 35 builds for next. I'm going to be covering all the characters as time goes on here. So hopefully you guys look forward to those. That being said, guys, thank you for all your support. and we will see you in the next video.